Are Chicago City's streets less safe under Johnson's policies right now? And what do you expect in terms of what he'll face in Washington?
Well, Marni, I think what we've seen is that our streets are definitely not as safe as they can be, knowing that we have sexual child predators, violent gang members, and other individuals whom the Biden-Harris administration knew they sent here, and that the city of Chicago under Mayor Brandon Johnson refuses to allow our police officers to coordinate with our federal partners when we arrest any one of those 2,000 individuals who are dangers not only to our city, but to our nation. And I think what we're going to see Wednesday is that a lot of the bluster that the mayor has had at the podium here in the city of Chicago is going to evaporate when he's before the congressional committee, because he's not going to be able to word salad his way out of it. He's not going to be able to gaslight members of Congress, because they ultimately hold $3.5 billion of federal grant funds over the city of Chicago. And if he wants to put that money and our future on the line to protect that 2% of the population that is very bad, the city of Chicago will suffer for it.
The mayor has said he doesn't know what to expect at this hearing on Wednesday, but he has said that the administration is playing on people's fears, and this is about Chicago values. Is there compromise in addressing the illegal immigrant situation specific to criminals?
I think there absolutely is. And I think, when I met with Tom Homan, that's exactly what they want to see as well. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to go after all of the long-term undocumented who contribute positively to our communities, who support our economy. They're trying to focus on those dangers that are in our midst, those individuals like we've seen when he was here with Dr. Phil, pulling out individuals who've been repeat offenders, deported multiple times, and are very dangerous, like child sexual predators, like the violent gang member that was arrested last week that we saw our own members of Congress trying to advocate for. We can find a way to protect those where the federal government has failed, while also removing those threats to our neighborhoods. And we used to do that in the city of Chicago. We did that under Mayor Emanuel, under Mayor Daley. And it wasn't until Lori Lightfoot and then reinforced by Brandon Johnson that we stopped total cooperation. And that's what we need to get back to, because that is a very common sense approach to dealing with the chain of events that led to this crisis where it is today.
The rub, though, lies within the collateral damage, right? To Johnson's point, the people's fears, if they are undocumented, but they're going through the process, that they get scooped up in the effort to find these criminals. How do we alleviate that concern?
Well, it's one thing to say that you're concerned about that, which the mayor says he is, but at the same time, he says, well, ICE can already go into communities and go look for these individuals themselves. So why would you challenge ICE to go into neighborhoods, try to find these individuals themselves, knock on doors, and take your grandmas, your grandpas who've been here for 30 years who just never became citizens? Mm-hmm. Why would you not try to coordinate when you have someone in custody and turn that dangerous non-citizen over to the federal authorities who have been looking for that person for years? That's where the middle ground is. That's where Johnson fails to understand that cooperation actually protects people from collateral captures, and that's where we can actually get back on track to doing what we need to do. What he's going to see in Washington is a very angry panel who's going to say, why do you continue to protect the criminal element in your midst that you can get rid of? And he's not going to have an answer for that, because frankly, that is not our values. In Chicago, we don't need to support criminals, and many neighborhoods across the city do not support criminals, dangerous criminals in their neighborhoods. We can support people who came here. We are a city built on immigrants. My family was immigrants that came here without papers 100 years ago. But if you want to give people a space where they can thrive while they are following the laws and contributing positively to our city, then we should be able to do that. But this is not the way. And
if holding the mayor of Chicago and others accountable means withholding federal funds, how would a community like yours, Alderman, be impacted by that?
Well, we're talking about federal dollars that deal with public health. Much of the Department of Public Health in the city of Chicago is grant funded, so that would be a huge loss to the city's budget. It also deals with public safety. We get hundreds of millions of dollars to help support our police and our first responders, and a loss of that, we would have to literally have 100% property tax increase to cover the loss in federal dollars if we were to maintain spending on those programs, and we simply cannot do that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.